Okay, so I'm going to go through a few questions on this paper. Savinase is a protease. So it breaks down proteins, right? And its job is to break down molecules that cause stains and is used in detergents. Okay, so then they show you optimum temperature is 60 degrees. And they show you how it performs with different temperatures and different pH. So yes, optimum pH is pH 9. Okay, so with that, explain the rate of Savinase activity at and beyond 60 degrees. So actually at, right, should be 1 mark already. And yeah, the answer is, it is the temperature, is firstly the optimum is a keyword, where there will be the highest rate of enzyme substrate complexes. Okay, I will improve this phrasing. I will say where enzyme substrate complexes form the fastest. Because highest rate of enzyme substrate complexes as a sentence, just English wise, isn't that correct. Okay, so that would be the at answer. Then what about beyond 60? So you can see what happens, right? It decreases like that very drastically, sharply. So I would first describe briefly what happens. So from 60 to 90 degrees. So this is a data-based question, right? There's data given. So we should quote data as much as we can. We can't quote y-axis values, but we can say that it decreases sharply from 60 to 90 degrees, right? All the way to 0 reaction rate. So that will be describing beyond. And then why does that happen? For that, it's just the typical temperature denature answer. Okay, see this? This was the at answer, right? The at 60 degrees answer. Okay, then this part is the beyond answer. So we say that as it increases beyond, weak bonds are broken, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so all this is the answers, just copy paste. Okay, then look at this one, which is the problematic one, right? Because 0 out of 2 suggests why these detergents that contain this enzyme will also have chemicals that dissolve to form an alkaline solution. Okay, so before we even answer the question, we need to figure out the theory. Okay, and then we go up and we see that, okay, pH 9 is the best, right, for this enzyme. So we would want the detergent to be alkaline, to be at around pH 9, so that it will be faster for the enzyme to remove the stains. That's the whole job of the detergent, to break down the stains so that you can clean your clothes, right? So that has to be the end point of our answer, is so that we can break down the stains in a short time as possible. Okay, why not pH 9? What about 7, right? Because you see, it's going to be slower. And if it's slower rate, that means you have to wait longer for your clothes to be clean. People don't want to wait so long. So that would be the end point of the answer. Okay, so first thing we need to talk about is the optimum pH is at 9, which is there. Okay, see that? Optimum pH is at 9. I think this one the teacher just missed out that you wrote it here, optimum. Okay, so alkaline solution provides the ideal condition to work most efficiently. Okay, see, this is a very vulgar word in bio. Bad word. Don't use the word efficiently. It never gives you good things in your OEQs. It always leads to you being vague, not specific enough. And then you see, there's something missing, right? Yeah, so don't ever use this, right? What would I say here? Okay, so optimum, I agree. And then I would use actually similar explanation as above. At this pH, there is the highest, or rather, enzyme substrate complexes form the fastest. Okay, that's why the rate of reaction will be the fastest. And therefore, the stains will be digested fastest to remove the stain in the shortest time possible. Okay, so that is what was missing at the back here. I think this one, maybe your teacher would have given you 1 mark if they saw that you did right optimum. Okay, next one. What do you miss out in this explanation? Mitochondria, a lot of mitochondria in muscle cells. Okay, why? 2 marks, right? So after I saw this, I was like, hey, actually this seems like a very good answer. So what is missing? Why did the teacher say aerobic respiration explain this? This is my guess. My guess is that because it's 2 marks, right, they are demanding even more. So maybe they want you to elaborate what is aerobic respiration, which is the breakdown of digested food substances such as glucose into carbon dioxide and water, releasing large amount of energy. So I think that's what they wanted. They want you to like unpack this term more to justify you getting 2 marks. Because you see, it's quite a simple thing. Basically, muscle cells need to carry out muscular contractions. So can you change that? Muscular, add that word, because that is a key phrase that comes together. Hence, need many mitochondria to release large amounts of energy. Okay, so in fact, because of this, right, I was like, wow, the marking scheme is so strict. Okay, let's one up them, right? Let's always be even stricter with the way that I teach y'all. So in our notes, this was a CAQ. I just updated it. Okay, this is the one that I just updated. Okay, I just improved this part to add even more. So you notice, we just say, what's the cell type? Muscle cell. What is the job? Need to pump mineral salts, right? So for this question, it's need to do muscular contractions. And this thing consumes a lot of energy. So they need a lot of mitochondria to generate energy through aerobic respiration. So that actually was the end of my answer last time. But now I've added this whole part in case they are strict like this, okay, to justify really the 2 marks. Then people always be like, wow, so unfair, like, why you have to write so much? Well, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Okay, and the more keywords you spam, the safer you are. Like, see this one? Because we didn't spam enough, right? Then a very strict marking scheme, we didn't get the mark. Not worth, right? It's better to just be safe than sorry. Yeah, so it's really just about being safe than sorry. So that's why I just improved this. And that would be what I think is missing from here. Okay, now here's the next one, which is honestly quite difficult. Rattlesnake has these tail shaker muscles. Okay, then they show you that tail shaker muscles change in blood flow. There's an increase during rattling, which makes sense, right? Because the muscle needs to be supplied with more blood to receive more oxygen and nutrients, and also to take away, to remove the lactic acid and carbon dioxide. So it makes sense to increase blood flow to a muscle when it's working. But you notice this increase is more compared to mammalian, which is just a mammal's muscle. So somehow they get more blood flow to it. Okay. Then the other piece of evidence we have, I mean, you see, it's a 2-mark question, right? And we're later going to explain why is it that this muscle, the tail shaker, can do anaerobic for longer. So one of my mark must come from this. This must explain something. And then the next one is change in lactic acid in the blood. What does this mean? So when the blood goes to the muscle and removes the lactic acid from the muscle, then the blood's lactic acid will go up, right? Because it's taken on the lactic acid from the muscle. So we expect, yes, to see an increase. But strangely, there's a smaller increase for the rattlesnake's muscle, okay, the tail shaker muscle, which is strange. Okay, I'm not sure why, but let's try and use it to explain. So explain why they can do anaerobic longer than mammalian muscles. Okay, so this must give us one of the answer, right? Okay, so just now I already said, what is the point of sending more blood to a muscle? More oxygen and nutrients, right? Now, if we say for more oxygen for aerobic respiration, that is not answering the question, because anaerobic doesn't use oxygen, right? But I can still talk about the nutrients, sending more glucose, because anaerobic does use glucose. It breaks it down to lactic acid and releases a small amount of energy. So it is still relevant if I talk about blood sends nutrients. I'm going to leave out oxygen because not answering question. More blood flow, since the tail shaker muscle receives more blood flow compared to mammalian muscles, it receives more nutrients such as glucose, okay, at a faster rate. So more anaerobic respiration can be carried out. So that would be the first mark, the blood flow reason. Okay, second mark, this one, right? The change in lactic acid. Yeah, so this is hard. I understand. It would be very difficult to come up with this in the exam also. It seems like the tail shaker muscle somehow produces less lactic acid. Okay, it seems like it. Because the fact that we have a smaller change, right, means that it seems like it's producing less lactic acid at the tail shaker muscle. So when you produce less lactic acid, then what's the benefit? Okay, this part, let me check our notes again. So if you look at our notes, right, in 2024 syllabus, lactic acid effects has been removed. Like the fatigue and pain that it causes has been removed. Yep, and I just went to double confirm with the textbook also. It has been removed, okay, in 2024 syllabus. Apparently because scientifically, it's not accurate actually that lactic acid is exactly the cause of the fatigue and the pain. It might be due to other things, not due to lactic acid. I think that's why they removed it. But I feel like that's the answer for the second point, okay, because you can see the corrections also from the answer key about accumulation of lactic acid in muscles, right? So this is what I would say for the second point. Okay, although it's our syllabus now, is that tail shaker muscle produces less lactic acid compared to mammalian muscles. So there's a lower accumulation of lactic acid in the muscles, which reduces the fatigue that it experiences. So it can continue contracting for longer using anaerobic respiration. Okay, so I agree it's our syllabus anymore. I believe that must be the second point in this answer. Okay, let's go to the last one. Okay, which is actually just this part. So you don't have to refer to the above. It's kind of isolated. Explain how blood glucose concentration is imbalanced in a person who has type 2 diabetes. So we know that it's not around like really imbalanced, but it's more like it's too high, right? Persistently high blood glucose. So let's go to topic on homeostasis. Find diabetes. Okay, here. So firstly, we have to say what is type 2 diabetes and how does it work? And then we link to the end point, the end result of the answer, the last part of our answer will be how it's imbalanced. And this is, I think, right, they intentionally use this vague term on purpose because they wanted you to know the keyword persistently high blood glucose. Okay, see that? Yeah, this is what they mean by imbalance. So this will be the end of our answer. Okay, so we're going to start with saying how does type 2 diabetes work? So type 2 diabetes has target cells. That's not a good way to say it. Okay, this is a disease. You can say insulin has target cells. That's true, right? So you can say that, actually, let's just follow this exact thing here. Okay, so just copy this exact thing. So low sensitivity to insulin. I think why they mark wrong, right, is they want lose sensitivity. Lose or lost sensitivity. So I know it's kind of the same, I agree, like English-wise, but perhaps they're just being very strict with, they want that exact key phrase, okay, loss sensitivity. So the target cells, the liver and muscle cells, so actually here you wrote the target cells, shouldn't have cancelled it out because it can be a keyword, loss sensitivity to insulin. Okay, then what's the next point, right? Because 3 marks, so this is my first mark. My second mark would be explaining how come it leaves glucose stuck outside. So you see here, you said after you eat carbohydrates, then the target cells don't respond to the increase in glucose. No, you say the body does respond, but you didn't say which part of the body. The cells of the islets of Langerhans of the pancreas will detect the increase and secrete more insulin. Okay, so yeah, that's good. You said secrete more insulin, but liver and muscle cells do not efficiently. See, saying these bad words again. Vulgar language. If you say efficiently, it's almost like a curse. You will get marked wrong. So don't say this. Yeah, but liver and muscle cells, they don't take in the insulin. See, insulin is not to enter a cell. It's just like doorbell. You know, you press the doorbell, right? But you don't take the doorbell and throw inside the house when you're trying to enter a house. You just ring the doorbell. So insulin just comes to the door and knocks on it off the cell. Then the cell will open and glucose will enter the plasma membrane, diffuse into the cell. Okay, so what's the phrasing to use, right? Makes cells more permeable to glucose. Okay, see this? It's right here. So this is what we are going to say, that because the cells have lost sensitivity to insulin, now when even though insulin comes, it fails to increase their permeability of liver and muscle cells to glucose. So more glucose does not diffuse in. So glucose will remain outside in the bloodstream. That results in persistently high blood glucose. Yeah, persistently. So why is it that persistently was a keyword here that was missing? Because even a normal person will have high blood glucose, right? Let's see here. Glucose level. See this? They didn't even say that this graph, right, is a diabetic. This could be a normal person. Okay, actually probably not, because this is quite long and it's still remaining so high. It's probably a diabetic, okay? But even if you're not diabetic, after you eat carbohydrates, you will have high blood glucose for some time before it comes down, right? So high blood glucose is a normal thing. But persistently means that it just very stubbornly doesn't want to come down. That is not normal. So that's why this keyword matters so much, because just saying high blood glucose has no difference from a normal person. Hey guys, so if that was helpful for you, then subscribe to our channel. If you'd like to join our O-level pure bio tuition classes, then click the link below or go to ThatBioTutor.com.